willkommen zurück zu einem weiteren Part Honkai Star Rail. Wir werden heute nach einem sehr erfolgreichen letzten Part, wo ich mich ein bisschen in Panic-Pony blamiert habe, heute endlich die Begleitermission von Yunli anschauen. Ein bisschen spät, ich meine, Yunli ist beim letzten Mal nachdem wir das hier, wie heißt es, stellare Kampfkunst-Event abgeschlossen haben, ist sie abgereist. Dementsprechend, ich bin tatsächlich gespannt. Wahrscheinlich wird die Charaktermission von ihr sowieso jetzt irgendwie während dem Training von March 7 oder irgendwie so starten, weil wahrscheinlich. Wenn nicht, ich frage mich, ob sie jetzt irgendwie Bezug drauf nehmen, dass sie ja eigentlich jetzt schon weg sein sollte.
Ever since March started learning swordplay from Yancheng and Yunli, her voice has been absent on the express.
Ich habe vergessen. Es ist lange her, dass wir das letzte Mal eine Charakterquest haben. Ich habe gerade... Der Tapir, ey. Man hört nur irgendwann so... Es ist so lange her, dass wir eine gemacht haben. Ich habe vergessen, dass die gevoice-acted sind. Und weil es eine der neuen Sachen ist, die seit der 2.4 sind, ist sogar der Main Character wieder gevoiced gut mit. Weil seit der 2.4 ist ja der Main Character auch richtig viel gevoiced
I wonder how
gewesen.
well she's progressing. Where has she been these days?
Hey, hast du March 7 gesehen? Sie ist nicht pünktlich zum Schwerttraining gekommen. Warum schreibst du ihr nicht eine Nachricht? Ich habe sie auch nicht gesehen. Sie antwortet mir nicht. Wenn ich March 7 nicht finde, werde ich mich an ihren Vormund wenden müssen. Das bist du. Wenn ein Kind nicht fleißig ist, bringt es nichts, mit den Eltern zu reden. Außerdem, wann hat March 7 jemals auf mich gehört? Ja, mein Großvater hat normalerweise auch alle vertrieben, die über mich berichten wollten. Ich wurde beauftragt, die Schwertkunst beizubringen. Sie kann vor dem Unterricht weglaufen. Ich nicht. Kellerkind, wir sollten uns über die Situation deines Kindes unterhalten. Wie wäre es, wenn du mich am Eingang der Auromalit triffst? Ich warte auf dich. Okay. Es wird nicht acknowledged. Es wird nicht darauf eingegangen, dass sie eigentlich schon wieder weg ist. Scheinbar. Schade. Normalerweise achtet es ja sehr auf diese Details mit. Dass es irgendwie spezifisch sagt, es spielt in der Vergangenheit oder sowas. Aber sie ist ja schon weg. Oh, das ist gut kneifen. Interesting.
Star picking tours will take you around Aruma Alley.
Hi. Au. Steht sie normalerweise hier rum? Wenn man so plötzlich so einen NPC trifft irgendwo. Okay. NPC. Okay, ich dachte gerade... Ich dachte gerade, sie wäre auch irgendwie Yukong oder so, warum die plötzlich hier stehen wird. Okay. Ich sehe einen spielbaren Charakter, plötzlich ist alles spielbare Charakter. Hi!
I was looking around before you got here. I already looked everywhere, but March 7th is nowhere to be found.
Aber ja, was ich vorher gesagt habe, ist tatsächlich... Ich finde es schade. Normalerweise achtet das Spiel ja wirklich sehr darauf. Generell HoYoverse eigentlich so ein bisschen auf diese Logik von... Der Charakter ist schon weg, deswegen die Quest spielt automatisch einfach in der Vergangenheit, deswegen ist egal, wann du sie spielst. Oder es wird irgendwie Bezug darauf genommen, dass Yunli zum Beispiel in diesem Fall schon abgereist ist, aber... Wer weiß. Vielleicht ist sie in Wirklichkeit...
Forget it. Let's just assume she successfully skipped class. Actually,
Okay.
she's been quite diligent in her swordplay practice and hasn't taken many breaks lately. I think she deserves a day off. Besides, I used to skip classes even more than her back when I was still learning. If I was in the mood, I could train for 3 days straight. But if I wasn't in the mood, none of my seniors could find me. So, I can understand where she's coming from.
Okay. Oh, sie kommt also ganz nach ihrer Meisterin.
Don't make excuses for her. Since you're here, let me treat you to some tasty food. I'm more interested in you today.
Okay. Was interessiert dich denn an mir?
Let's walk and talk. Lingsha told me
Okay.
there's tasty food in Arum Alley. Let's go there.
Ich freue mich schon, wenn wir am Ende der Quest March finden werden und dann sie angeschrien wird, so von
A
wegen.
table for
So,
two, please.
du hast heute deine Klasse geskippt, morgen wird's doppelt so
All
schwer.
right, come on in. What would you like?
Well, we'll have one of everything on the menu.
The entire menu?
Do you think it'll be enough?
Ich habe gerade nicht viel Geld dabei. Doch, habe ich. Ich glaube, sie befürchtet, dass wir es nicht schaffen.
Oh, don't worry. There are 2 of us.
Yunli blickt dich voller Zuversicht
Well,
an.
then I'll start making a few dishes, and if you need more, just let me know.
Thank you.
Jo, okay. Bist du sicher, wir sollten nicht nach March suchen?
No, I've thought about it. She deserves a day off.
Okay. Tust du generell so viel essen?
Yeah. I mean, not too much, actually. Grandpa said to never be stingy when it comes to making friends. So, how big is your appetite?
Oh, mein Magen ist fast ohne Boden.
Ah, then eat to your heart's content.
Aber warum hast du eigentlich... Du hast vorhin gesagt, du bist an mir interessiert. Was ist los?
To be more precise, I'm interested in your sword.
Okay, also mein
Ian
Baseballschläger.
mentioned you before. He said that you're not to be underestimated, and that your weapon has a unique shape. So, I've always been curious about your sword. How the weight is distributed, what material it's made of, whether it contains any special ingenia.
Sie weiß nicht mal, dass ich einen Baseballschläger benutze, oder wie? Es ist ein Baseballschläger.
Seriously? A bat?
Bist du enttäuscht?
Just the opposite. This is fascinating.
Oh? Du zeigst Yunli deinen getreuen Schläger, den eng vertrauten. Vermutlich sind die nur March 7, Anhang, Welt, Himiko und Pompom noch näher. Okay.
So, it really is a baseball bat.
Also unser Main Character, alle von der Crew und dann unser Baseballschläger. Und dann alle anderen Charaktere. Gut zu wissen.
Grandpa said that a sword doesn't have to be constrained by its shape. So, in a sense, your bat is a sword too. He also said that a weapon mimics its master. So, your bat actually reflects your habits and nature, you know?
Okay.
Let me guess. You're someone who doesn't follow the rules, enjoys improvising, and can handle yourself well against tough foes. Am I right?
Ich halte mich immer an alle Regeln.
Oh, really? But I never guess wrong. I've come across so many sword wielders who acted all righteous and moral, but were really just liars. Their swords always told the truth, though. They told me that their wielders were just a bunch of frauds who relied on their divine weapons for everything. I've hunted down hundreds of swords like
Okay.
this so far, and every single one of them has been melted down.
Okay. Also du nimmst allen Leuten ihre Schwerter ab und schmilzt sie ein.
Yes, but only for those who cross the line. Melting their swords is my way of protecting those weapons. But just looking at a sword is not enough. Grandpa always says, words and expressions can be deceiving, but in a fight to the death, a sword's movements never lie. The war dance is just around the corner. You'll be participating, right?
Nope.
Miss Yunli, for talented sword masters like you, the war dance is a perfect opportunity to show off your skills and make a name for yourself. But for people like her who have already made significant
Ich
contributions
hab
to the
überlegt, wer ist
Xianzhou,
das? Okay.
they maybe don't need to prove themselves on the war dance stage. It has been a while, Miss Nameless.
And you are?
Madame Yukongs Sekretärin.
Thank you for your introduction, Miss Nameless. I'm Shi Kuei, and I work in the Palace of Astrum as the secretary for the Helmmaster. I apologize for interrupting your conversation. I happened to hear you discussing the war dance. And since this person is an old acquaintance, I thought I'd come and say hello.
Ich hätte eigentlich ihre Stimme erkennen müssen, weil ihre Stimme ist eigentlich aus irgendeinem Grund immer eine, die mich stört. Ich weiß nicht warum. Nicht im Sinne von irgendwie die Stimme ist, keine Ahnung, nicht im Sinne von der Voice Actor hat einen schlechten Job gemacht, stört mich, sondern, keine Ahnung, die Stimme, sie klingt einfach jedes Mal so, als würde ich gerade von dem größten Stück Scheiße überhaupt stehen. Ich weiß nicht warum, aus irgendeinem Grund klingt die Stimme so für mich.
Yes, with the war dance approaching, many guests from afar are pouring in. Mr. Pavo here is one of them. He's from the distant planet Kalevala.
Okay.
Mr. Pavo's planet recently joined the pan-cosmic trade system. He brought his delegation here this time, not only for business, but also to return something that belongs to the Xianzhou.
Okay, also es geht um ihn in dieser Quest, er ist ein Stück Scheiße und wir müssen ihn aufhalten.
Miss Shikue, the word gift is perhaps more fitting than return. While it did once belong to the Xianzhou, we faced many tribulations to be able to deliver it here, so it should be considered a gift.
I apologize for my poor choice of words. Mr. Pavo's delegation brought a legendary Xianzhou sword that had been lost for centuries. General Huayan plans to personally thank them at the Palace of Astrum and present the sword as a prize to the champion of the war dance. Mr. Pavo and I were actually on our way there.
Plötzlich zwei Schwerter,
Since you two
okay.
were talking so enthusiastically about the war dance, maybe you'd be interested in joining us at the Palace of Astrum?
Plötzlich kriegt der Sieger zwei Schwerter jetzt, oder wie? Haben wir überhaupt gegessen? Pavo!
Nice to meet you both. The journey to the Xianzhou Laofu wasn't an easy one, but the scenery here is worth it. It's completely different from my homeland. Once the formalities at the Palace of Astrum are finished, I'll find a quiet spot on this street and plant a seedling. And then my mission will be complete. The Sword of Heroes will finally be returned to its rightful owners. I couldn't be happier.
Du kannst sehr leise applaudieren.
Oh, you're interested in my home planet? That's great. Your Excellency is welcome to visit us at any time. Even though the trade route just opened, it still might take around 200 system hours to get there from Pier Point. But our planet is really great. Sure, it's a bit cold and the food is a bit repetitive and our houses aren't as fancy as those on Pier Point, but that doesn't matter. We've discovered massive Supernium deposits, and we're on the path to prosperity.
Supernium, okay.
Oh, you mean the Mieka Kivesa? It's an incredible sword. That weapon helped the legendary heroes of my homeland slay demons. It also has the power to choose monarchs. All the ancient kings of Kalevala received a sign from the sword, showing they were worthy to rule the land. According to tradition, each monarch would plunge the sword into a stone, and only a hero recognized by the sword could pull it out and ascend to the throne next.
Okay. Also das kannst wirklich ein Monarch
Well,
wählen?
those are just legends from the past. No one today has witnessed it firsthand.
Okay, wir wissen also schon, was in dieser Quest passieren wird. Und warum behalten wir es denn nicht?
Times have changed, and now that we have a council in place, the idea of a sword crowning a king has become a joke. Besides, it wasn't a native of Kalevala who last pulled out the sword and recognized its connection to the Xianzhou ship. It was a visitor from afar. While the sword holds great historical significance for Kalevala, it doesn't truly belong to our world. The old-timers on council had a heated debate about whether to return the sword. they eventually unanimously agreed to let the Mieka Kivesa return to where it truly belongs. That's the best possible outcome.
Okay. Na gut, werde ich dabei sein, wenn es übergeben
It's
wird.
an honor to have so many people witness the sword's homecoming.
Alright. So, Yunli, was hältst du von der Sache?
Let's head to the Palace of Astrum together.
Jo, ich will das Schwert auch gern
I
sehen.
know, right? Thanks to March 7 skipping class, we get to join in on the fun. Grandpa always asks me to go look at swords with him, but he hasn't said anything about this one. It's really weird. But now that we're invited, let's go and check it out.
Seltsam. Mal schauen. Mal schauen, was ist los? Bin gespannt. Es ist, ich vermute, das ist meine erste Vermutung, habe ich ja schon gesagt, dass er, der Typ irgendwie böse ist, aber...
There you are. Come on.
Weil ich meine, Yunli hat ja davon erzählt, dass sie so die Schwerter einschmilzt und sowas. Also entweder der Typ ist böse oder das Schwert ist böse. Vermute ich mal. Und macht dann den Besitzer böse oder irgendwie sowas. Würde ich mal vermuten. Er ist überall. Er ist überall.
Allow me to offer a sincere compliment, my fair lady. Your beauty is as pure as a snow-white iris.
Er hat eine Line und er fängt sofort wieder an.
My dear friend. Glad to meet you again.
Who is this weirdo? Who is this knight?
Oh, ich bin gespannt, was sagt sie über ihn, also seine Waffe?
A member of the Knights of Beauty.
Neben Weirdo.
I was invited as a part of the Kalevala delegation to escort the legendary Mieka Kivesa back to the Xianzhou.
Der ist halt echt überall, der Typ, ne? Der war auf... Moment, also der war auf Penacony? Und danach scheinbar irgendwie bei so einem super weit entfernten Planeten und wurde eingeladen, hierhin mitzukommen, oder
May
wie?
I have the honor of knowing your name?
My name is Yunli.
What a beautiful name. I wonder if you have ever heard the holy name of the pure and flawless goddess Adrilla.
Oh, you're here, Yunli. Didn't expect you to be so well informed. Well, now that you're here, don't forget your manners.
Manners. Come on. You won't find another granddaughter as polite and well-behaved as me.
Natürlich.
Just remember, this is a very serious ceremony. Sorry for keeping you waiting, Mr. Pavo. Now, let the sword gifting ceremony begin.
Moment. Wir müssen... Lass mich kurz überlegen. Die Tatsache, dass Argenti hier ist, wird nicht grundlos sein. Wenn wirklich irgendjemand von dem Schwert übernommen wird und böse wird dadurch, dann wird es wahrscheinlich jetzt Argenti sein, weil Argenti hat schon eine Bossform. Es gibt schon den Bosskampf gegen Argenti. Dementsprechend macht Sinn, dann können sie einfach den Bosskampf reusen.
Before the ceremony officially commences, I want to express my gratitude to the Knight Argenti. Thank you for enlightening us about the sword's origin and for escorting it here safely so that we may complete this ceremony.
Okay.
On behalf of the Kalevalan delegation, I, Pavel Kalistaya, am here to return the legendary Mieka Kivesa to the Xianzhou Alliance, its rightful homeland.
I'm truly grateful for Kalevala's noble act of returning the sword and for the Knight of Beauty's chivalry. Now, as we gather here on the Xianzhou Laofu, I officially welcome the sword back to its homeland, Mieka Kivesa. It's a fitting name for a sword with such a legendary past. I still remember the name engraved on this sword the day it was forged. Gu Yin. It was forged by Han Guang, a craftsman from the Zhu Ming's Flame Wheel Forge.
Wait. Hongguang?
Although its blade is worn and cracked, its essence remains as resilient as the Xianzhou Cloud Knights, All
in
it
Bezug auf
needs is some
Yunli.
repairs and polishing by the skilled craftsmen of the Artisanship Commission to regain its former glory. I've decided to entrust this sword, Gu Yin, to the Lawful Artisanship Commission for restoration. Furthermore, it will serve as the prize for the champion of the Lawful War Dance. This sword will be wielded against abominations to protect our homeland and live up to the mission of the Kalevalan delegation that returned it from so far away.
Okay.
Thank you, General. It is an
Agenti,
honor
was
for
hast du?
Kalevala.
Now, esteemed knight and delegation members, please head to the Artisanship Commission, where
No! This sword was forged by Hongguang.
Yunli! These esteemed guests have brought back your
Ah.
father's work. Where are your manners?
Oh, I didn't realize this sword was actually forged by your father. Returning it to its rightful owner is,
Grandpa, give me that cursed sword right now. I'll melt away the remnants of that man's curse once and for all.
Ja.
Don't be rude, Yunli. Apologize to our esteemed guests from afar.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for making a scene. But I have to melt down this cursed sword. I won't let it fall into anyone else's hands.
Yunli, please, go for now.
Okay, sehr andere Richtung, als ich predicted habe.
This is exactly why I didn't want Yunli to know about this. I didn't want to create trouble, but trouble found its way here anyway. Perhaps it really is divine intervention.
Klar, war klar, dass das der Grund, warum sie
Could
er nichts
you
gesagt hat.
please keep an eye on Yunli for me?
Klar. Aber ist es wirklich angebracht, wenn ich mich in eure Angelegenheiten einmische?
Don't worry about it. I need your help on this. I apologize for the unfortunate interruption. Let us move on with the ceremony.
Fujains aufrichtige Bitte hin verlässt den Palast in Volkslinie.
Unless I'm mistaken, Yunli should be around here somewhere.
Ah. Hey, Yunli. Hey.
Did Grandpa send you to look for me?
Holy.
I bet he did.
Okay. Wow. Das ist sehr viel ernster plötzlich geworden, als ich erwartet habe. Ich bin hier, weil ich mich um dich sorge.
Really? Thank you. Just so you know, I'm here just waiting for the perfect moment to snatch that sword. And once I have it, I'll melt it down before anyone can react. Don't even think about stopping me. No one can stop me.
Und wenn du nicht sagst, was los ist, kann ja auch niemand helfen.
Grandpa sent you here. Surely he doesn't want you to help me. Have you heard of cursed swords? That sword is one.
Ich meine, ich weiß, was ein verfluchtes Schwert grundsätzlich sein sollte, aber was genau macht es denn? Also wurde es
You've
korrumpiert, oder?
clearly heard a lot of folktales. But that's not the kind of cursed sword I'm talking about. A cursed sword lets anyone, even a complete novice, wield it with insane skill. Just by holding the hilt Even the weakest rookie can brandish it with incredible speed and strength.
Okay. Damit bräuchte Marge nur einen Tag Ausbildung.
I'm not joking around. And I'm not making up some crazy story. While a cursed sword grants instant abilities to its wielder, it comes at a cost. It's like continuously adding fuel to the forge. With each swing, the sword drains the wielder's blood and essence. Day by day, the fuel will run out, leaving nothing but an empty husk. Soon enough, it will no longer be a person wielding a sword, but a mindless, killing machine, consumed by bloodlust and murderous thoughts.
Mhm. Tja. Also ähnlich wie wenn man von dem Heliobai besessen wäre.
So you're familiar with Heliobai. That makes this much easier to There was a lunatic swordsmith who infused metal blades with Heliobai, as he was obsessed with turning weapons into living things. And this is how cursed swords were made.
Oh. Also hat dein Vater ein Heliobai in dem Schwert versiegelt.
I know. I shouldn't have caused a scene at the sword gifting ceremony. But I've thought this through. If I don't make a fuss now, that cursed sword will cause a whole lot more trouble. So it's better if it's me causing the trouble. By the way, aren't they supposed to be taking the sword to the Artisanship Commission for repairs? Why haven't they come out yet?
Vielleicht gibt's mehr als einen Ausgang.
Looks like they're not going to show up here. I'll just head straight to the Artisanship Commission. It doesn't matter why Grandpa chose that sword. I won't let it fall into anyone else's hands. I'll track down every single sword he forged and melt them down one after another. I have to go now.
Is she planning to sneak into the Artisanship Commission and steal that sword?
Ich meine, sie hat uns literally gesagt, sie macht das, Stell.
Maybe I should keep an eye on her.
Jupp. Interessant. Auch halt einfach die Frage, warum der Großvater jetzt nichts dagegen macht.
The Artisanship Commission is so big. Where could she be?
Just a while ago, a girl came up to me, all fierce and demanding directions. She said she's a member of the Artisanship Commission. Do you know her?
No idea who she is. If she really works here, how can she not know her way around?
Okay. Hatte sie ein riesiges Schwert dabei?
Yeah, she wasn't big at all. But that weapon of hers was pretty intimidating.
She was in a hurry, heading straight for the Artisanship Commission, and I didn't want to ask too many questions.
Was zum Teufel? Warum sitzt da hinten einer? Sitzt da einer so mitten im Nirgendwo?
She said something like, I'm a member of the Artisanship Commission. Where do you keep your precious stuff? I got scared and pointed her toward Master Gongshu's warehouse, where he stores his arumatons.
Wait, why did you give her directions? What if she's planning to steal something?
Also genau. Wohin ist sie denn?
Else? Like I said, she was headed straight for the warehouse, where all the valuable arumatons are.
Yeah, that place is filled with Master Gongshu's precious arumatons. I bet they'll give her a hard time.
Okay. Wieso kann ich das Ding nicht benutzen? Muss ich was... Naja. Egal. Die hat wahrscheinlich die Dinger schon alle auseinandergenommen. Aber... Nein, sind wir ganz ehrlich, wir helfen ihr, die Dinger auseinanderzunehmen. Aber sie hat auch schon einige auseinandergenommen, okay.
What are you doing here? Look, if I get into trouble, it's my problem. I don't want to drag you into it.
Tja. Ich habe aber deinem Großvater versprochen, nicht im Auge zu behalten.
Let's smash these metal cans first. Then we can talk.
Und kriegen wir eine Demo-Version von ihr? No. Jedes Mal traurig, wenn man so eine Character Quest spielt und nicht den Charakter bekommt.
The fearless knows not fear. That won't do.
Sure, I'll play along.
Ich war gerade verwirrt. Warum hat der Charge bekommen, aber stimmt.
All in.
I venture
So.
for forever.
Und weg.
Victory is inevitable.
Und weg. Okay.
That was the last of them. Thank you for help. This place is heavily guarded.
Sonne, bitte.
There's nothing but
Du nervst.
aromatons. Seems like not even those craftsmen know where the arsenal is. At this rate, we won't find anything. And Grandpa might take me away before I can do anything. You're not really here to help me. You're here to stop me, right?
Das verfluchte Schwert ist nicht nur dein Problem, weißt du?
It's not. Grandpa made a promise to the delegation, and going back on his word would tarnish his reputation and make things difficult for the Lofu. But leaving that cursed sword here will also make things difficult for the Lofu. So all things considered, the best outcome is for me to melt that sword down and take all the blame. You probably think I'm being impulsive and unreasonable, right?
Auf jeden Fall ja. Ich meine, wir wissen ja auch nicht aus eigener Erfahrung, wie schlimm es sein könnte, aber sie ist auf jeden Fall besessen von Schwertern.
Do I come across that way? Well, I guess I can't deny it.
Das ist ein heikles Thema,
You're
ne?
sharp. Yeah. You could say it's a sensitive topic.
Dann erzähl mir die ganze Geschichte.
Look. I owe you an explanation. But this isn't the best place to talk. We need to find somewhere else. Let me be clear, though. I'm still pretty riled up. This is just a temporary break.
Okay.
I already told you about Guyan. The sword that was returned during the ceremony. It's a cursed sword, with a heliobus inside. And Hongguang, the swordsmith who forged it, is my father. I rarely mention his name to anyone other than Grandpa. Maybe, like you said, I've been avoiding having to talk about him. But as long as my mission to hunt down cursed swords continues, it's impossible to avoid the topic forever. For some reason, I feel like I can open up to you. Honestly, I don't remember much about him. All I know is that the Pyrogyre Forge used to be a bustling place, with people from all over coming to get one of his swords. They called him the greatest master craftsman since Yingxing.
No. Ich wollte meine Kamera ausblenden, nicht das Spiel. No. Das ist süß, das Bild. Das ist süß.
I didn't catch all the details, but I do remember seeing him forge those amazing swords, while the visitors watched with smiles on their faces. I used to believe that craftsmen brought happiness to others. The swords crafted by the Pyrogyre Forge are famed across the stars. They possess exceptional sharpness and invincibility. With these legendary weapons, even ordinary people can become skilled warriors, capable of overcoming the most formidable opponents. But then, he became obsessed with becoming a famed swordsmith, and started crossing all sorts of lines. He forged cursed swords that should never exist. And all those people who desired those twisted swords started flooding into the palace. However, just like Grandpa said, those who excel with the sword will eventually suffer by it. The palace was overrun with visitors from afar. Some left empty-handed. Others got swords that didn't fulfill their desires. And some even resorted to stealing. And in the midst of all the chaos my father created, he ended up being stabbed by one of the swords he forged.
Holy shit. Arme Yunli.
It was so sudden and unexpected. Everything went silent for a moment. All I could hear was the sound of bones breaking and blood pouring out. I was frozen in place, unable to move. It was only when my mother pushed me away from the deadly swing of the cursed sword that I managed to escape. I don't remember much after that, except for the pounding of my heart and the sound of my own gasps of breath. I could hear the smiths in the Pyrogyre forge shouting, "Run away, Yunli!" And the screams of agony.
Holy shit.
My tears wouldn't stop. And I couldn't see anything. I kept gasping for air until I collapsed in a pool of blood. If General Huayan hadn't arrived in time, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you now. After that, General Huayan took me in and treated me like his own granddaughter. To me, he is 100 times better than my sinful father. He taught me forging and swordsmanship. Han Guang paid for his sins, but his troubled legacy must not go unchecked. According to the records, he forged a total of 1,382 Heliobus cursed swords, and 182 of them had unique designs. When I joined the Pyrogyre Forge for training, I made a vow to hunt down all those cursed swords. So far, I found 312 of them, and Guyun will be my 313th. Like all the other cursed swords, I'll separate it from the Heliobus. Then, I'll melt it down and make it part of the Blade of Forged Remnants. I've said my piece now. Even though it'll be tough for Grandpa, I still have to melt down the sword.
Tja, aber die Delegation nennt's ein Heldenschwert.
Those travelers who came seeking Hongguang's swords all came in the name of justice and honor. Most of those so-called great heroes were heartless killers. They are only called heroes because they won.
Yep. Sehr
Many
true.
of the cursed swords I've destroyed had honorable and grand names, too. A legendary sword and a butcher's knife are often just different ways of describing the same thing. Somehow, after talking to you, I feel like I've cooled off a bit. Well, I'll have an honest conversation with Grandpa tomorrow. And I won't take any action against Guyun until he gives me his reasons.
Vergiss nicht, dich zu entschuldigen.
Yeah, I shouldn't have done that in a public place. Anyway, thank you. We'll catch up tomorrow.
I should go back to the Palace of Astrum and tell General Huayan what happened at the Artisanship Commission.
Alright. Wie gesagt, es wird wahrscheinlich ist Argenti so ein bisschen seltsam gewesen, weil das Schwert schon irgendwas angestellt hat. Irgendwie der Healer hat ihn possessed oder sowas.
My granddaughter didn't cause any trouble, did she, young lady?
Hier, das ist passiert. Du erzählst ihm alles, was vorgefallen ist.
Sorry for all this trouble. Yunli told you quite a bit. Now it's time for this old man to tell my side of this. Hanguang was my beloved disciple. A rare genius not seen in the Pyrogyre Forge since Yingxing. However, talent can sometimes be a curse. He had an unusual fervor for forging, and he dreamed of forging a sword with self-awareness that surpassed that of humans. He believed it would make warriors invincible without any training. According to him, while weapons of mass destruction like dooming flames and alchemical arrows can destroy many enemies, true victory lies with soldiers who fearlessly fight, ready to lay their lives on the line. Usually, Xianzhou swordsmiths infuse a basic level of awareness into their swords to make them easier to wield. But even then, soldiers need to experience countless battles to overcome fear and sharpen their instincts. So...
Und dann hat er die Idee gehabt, Heliobai zu verwenden.
By infusing Heliobai into swords, he managed to forge weapons that could grant their wielders strength and valor, and even make decisions for them. However, weapons are different from regular tools. They are meant to kill, plain and simple. After countless battles, all the anger, fear, and bloodlust are soaked up by the Heliobai within the swords. The soldiers wielding them not only gain strength, but they also become consumed by the malice, turning them into puppets possessed by the swords. No matter how noble Hongguang's intentions were, those weapons, soaked in blood, turned into cursed swords eventually. Later, Outworlders got wind of what he was doing and encouraged him to keep forging cursed swords. They came up with all sorts of reasons, from taking back their kingdoms to slaying demons. And you know what happened next. That massacre took her parents' lives, and the lives of many craftsmen in the Pyrogyre Forge. Yunli managed to survive, but she couldn't escape the horrors of that day.
Holy shit, ja. Gottes Willen. Mal arme Yunli. Deswegen wolltest du, dass sie das Schwert nicht sieht.
I don't want her to spend her whole life trapped under her father's shadow. She doesn't deserve to carry the weight of his mistakes. Despite her vow to hunt down and wipe out all cursed swords, fulfilling that vow requires immense effort. Traversing the starry seas in search of the swords is like finding a needle in a haystack. And to reclaim those swords, she has to duel the bloodthirsty wielders, teetering on the edge of life and death. She has taken back over 300 cursed swords, and has suffered the same number of fatal wounds. I took her in to give her a chance at a normal childhood, not to send her on a sword-hunting journey. Even if she manages to melt down all the cursed swords one day, what will she do with her life after?
Tja, und in dem Schwert steckt also auch ein Heliobai.
Huyen is indeed one of the cursed swords forged by Hanguang. Very few swordsmiths could use Heliobai as forging material, and Hanguang was one of them. His attempt came at a terrible cost.
Yunli hat vor, morgen mit dir zu
I
reden.
thought this sword could be an opportunity. I wanted to tell her that her father wasn't all evil, that even the man she resents so much managed to forge a true sword of heroes. I also wanted to find a chance to tell her about the history and origin of this sword, but not during the ceremony. As you saw, it wasn't a good time. I've instructed the Artisanship Commission to keep the sword safe in the arsenal. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask the people involved.
Okay. Meister Gongshu, ich muss dich was fragen. General Huyung schenkte Lofu ein Schwert namens Guyung. Keine Sorge, er hat es uns anvertraut. Ach ja, ich habe von meinem Lehrling gehört, dass ein schwertschwingendes Mädchen hier eingedrungen sei. Du musst die Enkelin von ihm sein, oder? Will sie mit mir plaudern oder mich ausrauben? Sie hat versprochen, dass sie nicht angreifen wird, bis die Situation bestätigt ist. Was? Sie wollte das Schwert stehlen? Ich bin zu Tode erschrocken. Der Ritter der Schönheit hat das Schwert gerade hier hingebracht. Er befindet sich jetzt im Waffen... Ja. Er befindet sich jetzt im Waffenlager. Wenn ich Zeit habe, würde ich gerne drüber reden.
Since my granddaughter mentioned talking to me tomorrow, I'll be waiting for her. By the way, you watched over her for quite some time.
Ein hübsches Mädchen wie sie macht mich niemals müde.
I'll be counting on you then.
Time to go back and find that class-skipping March 7th.
Yep. Okay. Ich muss einfach nur verlassen. Nach dem ereignisreichen Tag kehrst du zum Express zurück und erwischst March 7 beim Schwänzen. Natürlich. March, du hast einiges verpasst. Die Zeit verfliegt, während ihr Milchtee trinkt miteinander tratscht. Ein neuer Tag bricht an. Ich hätte fast schon erwartet, dass es jetzt sofort weitergeht, dass jetzt Argenti halt wirklich kontrolliert wird. Weil ganz ehrlich, darauf wird es hinauslaufen. Kellerkind, bist du da? Könntest du bitte mit uns kooperieren und zur Kunsthandwerkskommission kommen? Probleme mit dem Schwert? Meine Güte, ich habe noch nichts gesagt. Woher weißt du das alles? Korrekt, gestern hat die Handwerkskommission ein Schwert erhalten, doch heute, als ich danach schauen wollte, war es verschwunden. Wie auch immer, die Kommission hat eine offizielle Untersuchung eingeleitet und führt routinemäßige Befragungen durch. Was? Ihr verdächtigt mich? Es ist nur routinemäßig. Du hast gestern an der Zeremonie teilgenommen und wurdest von den Handwerkern gesehen. Wir müssen alle befragen, die teilgenommen haben. Und kein eindeutiges Alibi haben. Die Handwerker haben auch erwähnt, dass gestern ein Mädchen mit einem Schwert hier eingedrungen ist. Sie ist die Hauptverdächtige. Ja. Yunli wird jetzt verdächtigt. Alle Leute denken, es ist Yunli gewesen und dann kommt am Ende halt der Reveal, es war Argenti.
Yunli, I'm sure you understand why the official called you here, right?
Yeah? But I didn't steal the sword.
Ja, sie hat es mir versprochen.
Unfortunately, official Dahao didn't hear Yunli's promise. If we don't recover the sword, we will be breaking our promise to the Lawfu and betraying the delegation. We're counting on you to find the truth, official Dahao.
Yes. It's my duty to thoroughly investigate the case. Even though Yunli is firm in her words, we can't just rely on her testimony.
After everything, the sword still got stolen. They should have given it to me from the beginning.
Sei jetzt besser mal erst still.
In this case of Gu Yun's theft, everyone involved seems suspicious to some extent. Miss Yunli is the main suspect. First, during the sword gifting ceremony, Yunli openly expressed her intention to steal the sword. She even mentioned it multiple times. After the ceremony, she broke into the Artisanship Commission and destroyed Arumatons in an attempt to get the sword. Am I right?
That's true.
The Realm Keeping Commission inspected the arsenal where Gu Yun was stored, and there were no signs of forced entry through the doors or windows. The only possible entrance or exit was a small window gap, just a few inches wide.
Habt ihr... Kurze Frage, das ist... Wahrscheinlich habt ihr das gemacht, weil das wäre das Logische zu machen. Habt ihr Argenti, der das Schwert als letztes gesehen hat, schon gefragt? Mit Sicherheit, oder? Ihr werdet nicht so dumm und würdet die Person, die das Schwert offiziell als letztes gesehen hat, nicht befragen, oder? So dumm wären die doch nicht. Aha, ein rätselhafter Mord im verschlossenen Raum.
It's just a theft. The box containing Guyun was opened and the sword went missing. But none of the other swords in the room were touched. Which means...
Ja, der Diebstahl war geplant.
I don't think it was stolen on a whim.
Exactly. The suspect had a clear motive and took only Guyun. So, besides the ceremony participants, only the delegation members had access to the sword.
Hat jemand von der Delegation das Schwert geklaut?
In that case, why would they return it to the Xianzhou in the first place?
Nicht alle Mitglieder haben dieselben Absichten?
That makes sense. The delegation, led by the Knight of Beauty, delivered the sword to the Artisanship Commission. The craftsmen who received it testified that they didn't take anything from the arsenal.
Okay. Hat vielleicht Argenti es geklaut?
Oh, that Knight of Beauty. He was with the delegation when they handed over the sword to the... You might not know, but he's the one who recognized the sword's origin on Kalevala and escorted it back to the Xianzhou. In other words, he's the one who made it possible for the sword to come home. So, he wouldn't have gone through all that trouble to bring it to the Law Fu if he wanted to keep the sword for himself.
Habt ihr ihn... Sie haben ihn nicht mal gefragt. Natürlich haben sie ihn nicht. Hat ein Handwerker es vielleicht getan?
Master Gongshu checked the work records, and I questioned all the craftsmen and apprentices who were on shift at the time. But I didn't find any suspicious individuals.
Habe vielleicht ich das Schwert geklaut?
So, did you steal it?
Nö.
Then stop joking around.
I can prove that she came to me after leaving the Artisanship Commission, so she couldn't have stolen the sword.
To put it simply, not everyone who's seen the sword has been to the Artisanship Commission, and not everyone who might want the sword has seen it. So, the only remaining suspect is Miss Yunli.
Fair enough.
So...
I didn't steal the sword.
Well, when you've eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth.
Es gibt eine andere
If you want to
Möglichkeit.
prove me wrong, you'd better come up with some solid evidence.
Oh, kommt
Let me
so
gather my
ein...
thoughts. I need to help Yunli clear her name.
Bravo!
Who could have thought that the Miekaki Vesa would be stolen? And that the prime suspect is General Huayan's granddaughter? Regardless, we've accomplished our mission, and now it's the Xianzhou's problem. By the way, why did that girl call it a cursed sword? It's quite upsetting.
Weil das Schwert dem drängenden Verstand
That's
rauben
enough,
kann.
young lady. Let me get something straight. On Kalevala, this sword has always been highly revered. The first master of the Miekaki Vesa slew countless demons and then passed it down to a line of wise monarchs. The monarchs would heed the guidance of the hero spirits within the sword and gain insight into defeating their enemies.
Ein solches Motiv kommt in vielen Mythen und Legenden vor.
Of course, it could just be a myth. After all, no one has actually heard the sword speak. The point is that the Miekaki Vesa did help the ancestors of Kalevala build a strong foundation. It's definitely not a cursed sword.
Pavos Aussage.
I don't want to make things difficult for official Dahao. Let's do this his way. If I can find that cursed sword, I can prove my innocence right away.
Wie willst du es denn finden?
That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. There's something else bothering me. Why would the thief take the sword, but leave the case behind? Did they melt down the sword like I wanted to?
Vielleicht war der Koffer zu sperrig?
Yeah. Maybe. But if the case was too much trouble, wouldn't it be too conspicuous to carry around the sword like that?
Ich meine, gleichzeitig so ein Official Case rumzutragen? Fair enough, es könnte auch einfach so ein Generic Case sein, stimmt. Ich glaube, es ist nirgendwo bestätigt, dass so ein offizieller Case hier war. Habe es einfach automatisch einfach so angenommen. Sprache ist schwer. Wenn es einfach so ein komplett Generic Case ist, den jeder benutzt, dann ja, aber wenn das hier so ein offizielles Ding ist, dann wäre es auch sehr auffällig. Ah, okay, noch nicht mit dir reden, okay. Gongshu!
Yes, I received your message yesterday and went to the arsenal to check on it. But when I went back this morning, all that was left was the case. I don't know anything else, so asking more questions won't help, I'm afraid. However, as the Master Artisan of the Artisanship Commission, I've got to clarify something. Even though the sword was stolen, this commission is still highly secure. Wait, no. I just remembered. My precious aromatons was smashed.
Ja?
Yunli says she didn't steal the sword, and I am willing to believe her.
Same, ich auch.
But I know well that Yunli can be impulsive. So if she did steal the sword on a whim, I won't show her any favors. You were with Yunli yesterday, young lady, so you have the best chance to prove her innocence. Is there anything you need to ask me?
Ist sie noch zu dir gekommen?
No, she was still mad at me, so she didn't come by. If she had come with you, she wouldn't be a suspect right now.
Wie wurde das Schwert hergebracht?
After the ceremony, Argenti carried the sword case, and together with the delegation, they were escorted by the Cloud Knights to the Artisanship Commission. The artisan there confirmed that the sword was safely stored.
Das ist
I'm
alles.
counting on you then.
Okay. Seine Aussage. Der Koffer, in dem Guyung verwahrt wurde, ist ein unvergesslicher Anblick. Es strahlt geradezu vor Schönheit. Vielleicht war es eben diese Schönheit, die die Aufmerksamkeit auf sich gezogen hat. Es ist einer der wenigen Beweise, die am Tatort waren. Vielleicht führt sie uns zum Dieb. Außen. Das Äußere des Koffers ist mit meisterhafter Einlagerung in Metalldraht versehen, die wie Lotusblütenmuster bilden. Ein dezenter Hinweis auf die Herkunft des Koffers von der vielgerühmten Xianzhou Juming. Das Schloss anschauen. Der Schließmechanismus des Kastens ist intakt. Es gibt kein Zeichen, dass er gewaltsam geöffnet wurde.
So, the thief took the sword from the case without picking the lock?
Scheinbar. Okay. Du bemerkst, dass sich am Boden der Schwertschneider ein paar rote Flecken befinden, die schwer zu übersehen sind, als wollte sie der Person, die den Schwertschneider untersucht, ganz bewusst ihre Existenz ankündigen. Was ist das denn? Ein paar einsame Blütenblätter kurz vor dem Verwelken. Genauer gesagt handelt es sich um die Blätter einer Rosenblüte.
Why is this flower petal inside the case?
Schließ den Koffer und legst ihn zurück. Das Rosenblatt. Alles klar. Ich bin 100%, dass sie es nicht war.
I'm not sure if I can convince Mr. Da how.
100% sure. Fine. Let me go through my reasoning again, and you can interrupt if anything feels off.
Ja, Debatte.
Throughout the entire incident, there was only one suspect who broke into the Artisanship Commission, and that was Miss Yunli. Miss Yunli caused a ruckus at the Artisanship Commission, trying to take away Guyun.
Wait, wir wollen weitere Fragen.
Your statement isn't quite accurate. Argenti, the delegation members, and even me, we were all at the Artisanship Commission at some point.
True. But they all left after delivering the sword. And the craftsman overseeing the handover confirmed that they couldn't have left with the sword. We looked into it as well. Before Guyun was handed over, the Psy crane at the entrance of the Artisanship Commission captured you leaving. But there's no record of Miss Yunli leaving.
Okay.
Why would I dare leave through the main entrance after smashing the aromatons?
Throughout the entire incident, Miss Yunli caused a ruckus at the Artisanship Commission, trying to take away Guyun. But you stopped her in her tracks.
What Dahao said seems right. Exactly. So at least Yunli didn't steal the sword at that time, because we were at the Arumaton warehouse.
If your testimony is reliable. I'm not implying anything, but we need to scrutinize every piece of... Miss Yunli caused a ruckus
Okay,
at the
hier zeigen wir den
Artisanship
Beweis.
Commission, trying to take away... After bidding farewell to you, Yunli pretended to leave, but snuck into the arsenal...
After Yunli and I went our separate ways, I messaged Master Gongshu to inform him about the incident. And much later, Master Gongshu told me the sword was confirmed safe. So up until that point, Yunli couldn't have stolen it. Can I prove this?
After bidding farewell to you,
Oder da zeigen wir
we
den
haven't
Beweis.
found any other suspects or evidence.
Looks like you're missing some crucial...
There are no signs of the arsenal being broken into, so...
No. The fact that there are no signs of a break-in is suspicious in its... Which piece of evidence...
We
Okay, es
haven't
gibt
found...
mehrere.
After
Okay.
bidding Miss Yunli caused a ruckus at the Artisanship Commission, trying to take away
Der
Guyun.
Beweis, dass wir bei
You stopped
den
her in her
Arumatons waren, ist... Es ist in der Zeugenaussage kein Kommentar darüber, dass wir die Arumatons zerstört haben, also
After
nicht.
bidding farewell to you, Yunli pretended to leave.
Dann
but
hier.
snuck it. Wait, you messaged Master Gongshu? I had no idea. Well, that's some solid proof right there. However, it only proves the sword wasn't stolen up to that point.
I didn't do it!
After bidding farewell to you, we haven't found any other suspects or evidence.
Das unversehrte
I
Schloss.
carefully examined the lock of the sword case, and there were no signs of tampering or damage.
What does that mean?
Das bedeutet, dass der Koffer überhaupt nicht verschlossen
As to
war.
why the case was never locked in the first place, only the people who delivered it to the Artisanship Commission would know. Plus, I found something else inside the case. Which piece of evidence should I use?
We haven't found any other suspects or evidence.
Can I...
Throughout the entire incident,
Okay,
there was only one...
Rosenblatt.
On second thought, maybe...
Take your time. Throughout the entire incident, there was only one suspect who broke into the art. Miss Yunli caused a ruckus at the Artisanship Commission, trying to take away Guyun. But you stopped her in her tracks. After bidding farewell, we haven't found any...
Can I...
Throughout the entire incident, we haven't found any other suspects or
So,
evidence.
Rosenblatt.
I found this in the crevice at the bottom...
A rose petal? Huh. I must have missed it
Wie?
during the search.
Wie hast du das
Why was there a petal
übersehen?
inside the case?
Ich glaube, Dahu, du bist nicht die beste Person für eine
I
Ermittlung.
don't know. But I
Wenn
do
du
know
so
that
ein
wherever
offensichtliches
that Knight of
Rosenblatt
Beauty
übersiehst.
goes, he always leaves behind a trail of rose petals that's almost impossible to clean up.
Ja,
My thoughts are a
Pom-Pom kann
mess.
darüber ein Lied singen.
Let me sort them out. The sword case was never locked, which is evidence that only someone who delivered the sword could have done that. And the rose petal was probably left behind by that Knight of Beauty. But how did he manage to take the sword from the Artisanship Commission? Why did he steal it after returning it here? And why would he leave that petal in the case?
Ja, frag Argentin nicht mich. Ich könnte vermuten, er hat das Rosenblatt zurückgelassen, quasi das Schwert kontrolliert ihn und das war quasi sein Weg zu zeigen, hey, irgendwas ist falsch.
I know. Guyun flew out of the case on its own. The Knight of Beauty only unlocked the box to aid its escape.
Don't be ridiculous. How can a sword escape from a case on its own?
You've never seen a flying sword before?
I've only heard about the Mieka Kifesa being able to fly in legends. But even if it could fly, why would the Knight of Beauty do this?
Like I said, the sword contains a heliobus. Argenti must have been under the control of the sword. Maybe he was under its control even before you arrived on the Lofu.
Official Dahao, where can we find that knight?
Let me see. The docking location of Argenti's ship. The one and only.
Let's go. We've got to find Argenti before that sword completely takes over his mind.
Yep. Ich meine, war relativ offensichtlich, dass das ist, was passieren wird. War relativ offensichtlich.
Time for a break. Silent mode activated.
Dann wird es Zeit, Argenti zu verprügeln. Warum ist da ein Stuhl gewesen? »15. Tag, Monat X, 16:04 Uhr. Sind wir.
I've been waiting for you here for quite a while.
Hi.
Knight of Beauty. You're the one who stole Guyun, right? Hand it over. You have no idea how dangerous that cursed sword is.
Dangerous? In my humble opinion, the real danger is always the hand wielding the weapon.
Okay. Also hast du das Rosenblatt absichtlich hinterlassen?
Yes, I did. As a Drilla's knight, I've sworn to live in poverty, and I abhor theft. I had to leave behind a rose petal in order to keep my promise to Master Guyun and uphold my knightly oath.
What? What do you mean?
I agreed to assist Master Guyun in its escape from the Xianzhou. As the person who pulled it from the stone monument, captivated by its beauty, I must not let it down. I couldn't stay in the arsenal to convince the craftsman, nor did I want to take the sword like a thief. That's why I left behind a small piece of evidence that pointed to my identity in the hope of an open and honest conversation.
Whatever your reasons are, you're planning to take the cursed sword away from the Xianzhou. Hand it over to...
Back then, it was the beauty of Master Guyun that impressed me. So I willingly embarked on the journey to return the sword. But unfortunately, Master Guyun's homeland is no longer the ideal place for it to return to. As a Knight of Beauty, I must not abandon it halfway.
Oh no. He's completely captivated by the power of that...
Okay, wie bringen wir ihn zur Vernunft?
The solution is right in your hand.
Captivated? No, I am touched by Master Guyun's flawless beauty. To be honest, I'm confused why none of you can understand this sword. This is quite heartrending. I've already made up my mind to take Master Guyun away from the Xianzhou.
That cursed sword has messed with your ability to think. But I'll break you free from its grip. I'll shatter its illusion. And the sword itself.
Fair lady, if you're intent on taking away this person, this sword that is under my protection, please engage me with a fair duel according to knightly etiquette. As a representative of this duel, I, Argenti, challenge you.
Als Vertreter?
I swear on the spirit of chivalry, in front of Adrilla the Beauty, that I will represent Master Guyun in this duel. If I win, you will allow Master Guyun to leave the Xianzhou with me. And if you best me, Miss Yunli, I'll accept my defeat and turn Master Guyun over to you. Do you accept my challenge, Miss Yunli?
Fine. Let's see whose desire is stronger. Your desire to take it away, or my desire to hunt down all cursed swords. Show me what you've got.
Show me what you've got. Und wir werden immer noch nicht Yunli haben, oder?
You're not going to use Guyun to fight for victory?
Well, I know a thing or two about swordplay. In a proper duel like this, a knight should rely on the skills he's honed day and night.
Boss?
You're a real weirdo.
Ja. Das ist er auf jeden Fall.
The fearless knows not fear. Too slow.
So.
Rise to the
Market is unright. Investing in victory means playing the long game.
Sure, I'll play
Oh
along.
mein Gott, der hat sogar 2 Phasen hier. So ein richtiger Kampf. Wow.
I venture forth to hunt forever.
Machen wir ihn einfach. Das ist ein richtiger Kampf, ja. Ein wirklich, wirklich harter Kampf, den wir hier beschreiten müssen.
Show me what you can do. I'll give you 5 seconds. Never
Tschüss.
For chivalry.
For chivalry.
I've lost. According to the rules of a knight's duel, I should keep my promise and hand over the swords. But before I do that, I hope that you, as the winner, might have the mercy and listen to Master Guyon's past experiences.
This sword has been cursed since the day it was forged. Place it in front of me, and let me destroy it.
Do what she says, knight.
But
you've done so much
Oh.
for me already. It's time for me to face her alone.
Agent zieht ein Schwert aus den Spuren als verschlagen. Vor euren Augen erhebt es sich langsam.
Weary of fighting. I just want to share my past with you. To explain why I wanted to escape. After that, I'll leave my destiny in your hands. Are you afraid to witness my past, little girl?
Ich bin froh, dass wir das Schwert noch sehen. Okay. Ja, jetzt ist halt wahrscheinlich, das Schwert ist wirklich halbwegs ein Heldenschwert.
Afraid? Well, you do have a different aura from other cursed swords. But you're just trying to use my curiosity to lure me in.
Well, you know best that a single touch won't snatch away anyone's sanity.
Ein Versuch ist es wert.
Fine. Show me your past.
Jetzt bin ich gespannt. Oh mein Gott, es ist sogar... Oh, ich mag, dass es so Risse hat und jetzt ist es sogar gebrochen. Oh, das ist cool. Das ist cool. Der Ritter kennt die Regeln des ritterlichen Zweikampfs. Er hört auf zu streiten. Ist gespannt. Okay. Jetzt bin ich gespannt. Jetzt kommt bestimmt wieder was über Yunlis Vergangenheit. Das ist das letzte Schwert, das der Vater geschmiedet hat, oder?
It's already impossible to contact the main Cloud Knight forces. What awaits me will be a long and lonely war.
Follow me.
Oh, jetzt ist eine Erinnerung, ist es sogar wieder heil.
Is this your memory?
Das ist cool.
It's so cold here. I didn't feel it when I was in the thick of battle, but now it's freezing me to the bone. You're indeed a masterpiece from the Xianzhou Juming. If you hadn't taken control of my body, I probably would have been decapitated in that fight.
Quiet, and stay alert. Boris and wolf troopers never give up the hunt.
Hey, just relax a bit. It's been over 300 days since we were both stranded on this planet. The transmitter never rings, so I guess we can't count on that anymore. The people on this planet still use beasts to pull their carts. Obviously, there's no way they can help us fix the star skiff. Looks like we're stranded on this forsaken planet for the rest of our lives.
The rest of a Xianzhou native's life could be terribly long. Are you feeling any desperation? All by yourself in this hostile world?
Yeah, a bit.
When things get too rough for you to handle, just leave everything to me. No need to carry the weight of the world on your...
Yeah, sure. If I really can't handle things anymore, I'll leave my body to you. But now is not that time.
Do you really think you can oppose an entire Borisan army with your limited skills? What are you holding out for?
It's true that I'm stranded here, but it seems like that Borisan pack is in the same boat. By the way, Guyon, do you know what a seed is? A seed may seem insignificant, but with careful cultivation and time, it can grow into a huge, unwavering tree.
Ist er derjenige, der der erste König des Planeten werden wird? Das heißt, ein Xianzhou Native ist mit dem Schwert da gelandet, hat wahrscheinlich so letztendlich so die Monster besiegt und wurde letztendlich quasi der erste Herrscher, so
You said that
basically.
the rest of a Xianzhou native's life could be terribly long. You're right. That's why I intend to plant a seed named Resistance here and nurture it for the rest of my life. I want to show the people of this land how to defend themselves against those monsters.
Und deswegen hat der eine Typ von der Delegation auch so gesagt, jetzt nachdem ich das Schwert abgeliefert habe, will ich nur noch einen Samen hier pflanzen.
I can already see the seed in the eyes of those people.
You really think you can do it? Why not just give me control, and we can revel in the bloodbath together?
What was the memory I just saw?
It was a memory of me and a Cloud Knight. Stranded on an unfamiliar planet. We crash-landed on a planet occupied by Borison. Just the two of us.
I can feel that it was a lonely war.
I'm alive. But all the young people in the village...
They died. They died for you. They died because of your big promises. Promising them a life free from the Borison. I tasted their despair before death. They didn't see it coming. And neither will you.
We can't stay here. Let's move on to the next village.
Why? What's the point? You and your sorry excuse for an army have been fighting for over 3 decades, and you haven't won a single battle. What you're sowing is not resistance, but despair. This world is hopeless. It's completely infested with packs of Borison.
Wahrscheinlich hat das Schwert am Ende nur ein bisschen wird's netter und tut basically seinen Körper nutzen, um dann tatsächlich zu helfen.
And you know their methods. And those commoners you've put your hopes in. They just kneel down and worship the monsters devouring their children and families, calling them their beastmasters. One of the beastmasters for their sake. But they turned on you because they were scared of the Borison taking revenge. You remember all that, right?
I do. I remember my first death. The Borison cut off my head. But I also remember that if it weren't for a brave youngster who risked his neck to reattach my head and give me a proper burial, I would have disappeared completely. I remember everything the people did for me. They left food at the entrance of my cave, fixed my fur coat, and some even joined my resistance. The rest of the Xianzhou native's life is still terribly long, and there will be new youngsters who will stand beside me in battle.
Und wurde ihm legit der Kopf abgeschlagen? What?
You said it was a lonely war. No. It wasn't a war filled with loneliness, but with despair. So much despair that I don't want to ever taste it again.
Okay. No.
I'm leaving.
Where are you going, Your Highness?
I'm returning to my homeland, a distant place beyond the sky. I'm not coming back.
But what should we do with you gone? What if those wolf demons show up again?
They won't, my child. You've wiped out the last of them. But before I go, I need you to do one thing for me. Even though the wolf demons are gone, new monsters will appear in this world. Soon, a
demon will appear, donning golden branches and knowing only bloodshed. However, fear not, my children.
Ein Dämon in goldenen Ästen. Holy shit. Er wird halt hier von Mara befallen. Er geht weg, wo die anderen ihn nicht sehen können, lässt denen das Schwert und sie müssen ihn dann, wenn er von Mara befallen ist, töten. Oh mein Gott.
I'm entrusting you with this sword that's been with me in countless battles. Use the skills I've taught you over the years, and you'll surely defeat that last demon. But that's not all. I need you to construct a stone monument for me. It must be large and sturdy enough to seal the remains of that demon forever. This is a debt you owe me, and you must fulfill it. Do you understand?
You lied to them. And you lied to me, too.
Oh?
You promised that you'd give your body to me when you couldn't handle things anymore.
Well, this Xianzhou native's life has finally come to an end, my old friend. How about one last chance for revenge? Come and bid me farewell for the final time.
He had long since come to some understanding. I could sense a mix of intricate emotions flowing out. It wasn't bloodlust, or anger, or fear. What he had left for you?
They've learned how to fight monsters. But there's still one last monster lingering in the world. Kill it, my old friend. He left me there without ever looking back.
Oh mein Gott. Wenn das kaputte Schwert fliegt, hat es so leichte Aura, dass es so komplett aussieht. Wow. Oh, das ist cool.
Thank you, my old friend. Heliobi can taste human emotions. How do my emotions taste? My old friend.
A hint of bitter compassion and a touch of scalding courage. Your heart's deepest desire is to end war once and for all. Now, the war is finally over. Can you hear? Even though you can't hear me anymore, my old friend, I'll do everything I can to bring an end to all conflicts in this world.
So, this is the past of the Kalevalan people's Sword of Heroes? You helped the people of that world bring an end to war?
No.
No, I did not. I am a weapon, and I only became the cause of more conflicts. Countless monarchs of Kalevala saw me as a symbol of kingship endowed by nature, and they waged wars in order to possess me. I grew tired of their wicked intentions. I didn't want to kill for anyone anymore, so I returned to the stone monument where my master was buried. And since then, no one was able to remove me from it.
But you allowed Argenti to take you away?
Because even after all this time, I still wanted my master to come home. During the sword gifting ceremony, I felt anguish when I learned that I would be handed over to the most skilled swordmaster and once again become a tool for killing. My master had engraved his deepest desire into my blade. End war. As a weapon, my purpose was predetermined from the start. I had to become a deadly sword that would relentlessly hack and kill. But once I fulfilled my mission, would I have the right to choose my own destiny like he did? So, I asked the Knight of Beauty to help me break free from this never-ending cycle of bloodshed.
These thousands of years have naturally turned into memories of mine. I think I understand the beauty the Knight was talking about now.
I don't want to be a sword that brings death. My war ended long ago. The years spent as a tombstone were my finest.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
I've told you everything about my experience with Master Guyon on Kalevala. And now, I'm sure that Miss Yunli is as moved by the sword's flawless beauty as I was back then.
Even though I had heard the legends of this sword from the delegation, delving into its memories was still fascinating. Yunli, I trust Guyon's experiences have changed your mind.
Okay, wir haben alles gesehen, okay.
It wasn't until I held Guyon in my hands that I could sense its thoughts and unspoken words. I always thought a cursed sword infused with a heliobus would only bring rage and slaughter. I never thought someone could leave behind the desire to end war, and even change the nature of the cursed sword. My position was too extreme. Guyon is truly a sword of heroes. I apologize to all of you. I'm sorry.
Now that we've proven Miss Yunli's innocence and found the sword, should we now return it to the arsenal?
Nein.
No. I'm still going to melt down this sword.
Also,
I've heard your true desires, Guyon. I can sense that you're tired of being a sword. Constantly serving new masters and fighting battles you no longer want to be part of.
But being a sword is my destiny. I'm doomed to serve some master and fight battles endlessly. Can the wind choose to stop blowing? Can a cloud choose to stop drifting? No. It's the same for me. A creation with a predetermined destiny.
Sie würden wahrscheinlich zu was anderem
That's not
umschmieden.
true, Guyon. That nameless swordmaster shaped his own destiny. So you can too.
I just can't picture my destiny being anything other than that of a sword.
Do you remember when you stood alone in front of the swordmaster's stone monument? People admired you because you carried the memories of the hero. You were no longer a sword. You were a memorial.
Later, as I became worn and weathered, the gentle wind would pass through the hollows of my body, creating melodic tones that echoed in the distant mountains. I became a musical instrument then.
Can a creation become what it wants to be? The answer is yes. I'll grant your wish, Guyan, and transform you into something different.
Something different?
But this is the price for the war dance. If the Kalevalan delegation finds out... Please, say something, General Huayan.
Well, my granddaughter has always been stubborn. Are you really sure about this?
What do you all think?
Fragt Guyun.
Fulfilling Master Guyan's wishes is the reason I came to the Xianzhou. With Adrilla's blessing, you could turn Master Guyan into a plow. But as long as it fulfills his wish to end war, I support it fully.
Then, I'll leave it to you, Yunli.
Ihr begebt euch zum Penaten-Rüstungskammer, um dort den Schmiedeofen zu nutzen.
It's been an honor getting to know you like this.
The honor is mine. Thank you, Yunli.
Sie hat's reinfallen. Oh.
Why the long face, my child? Are you feeling regret? Perhaps you were completely determined when melting down the sword. So, why the sudden change of heart?
Grandpa, I melted down the prize for the war dance. How are you going to explain this to the Lawfu?
Oh? Am I hearing right? This little girl is worried about her grandpa. Didn't see that coming.
If only I'd talked to you from the beginning, Grandpa. Maybe things wouldn't have escalated like this, but at least Guyan got what it wanted. I have no regrets there.
When it comes to swords, you and your father are cut from the same cloth. So, are you planning to continue melting down the rest of Hongguang's swords?
Yeah. Guyan is unique. But the other cursed swords are still too dangerous for anyone to handle. But maybe I'll try to be more patient next time.
Be more patient. Well said. Remember what you learned today, because there will be many more situations in the future that will require you to be more patient.
Understood. But what about the prize?
Well, ever since you showed up at the ceremony, I had a hunch. So I prepared another sword as a backup plan. And don't worry, this one has nothing to do with Heliobi.
That's perfect.
Ist das jetzt das Schwert, was in der Story die ganze Zeit schon erwähnt wurde? Weil ich bin verwirrt, weil es war ja schon von Anfang an ein Schwert dabei, das sie vergeben wollten.
By the way, the ambassador from Kalevala and that knight went to Arum Alley. They're looking for a spot to honor the hero. Why don't we go take a look together?
Let's go. Okay. Ich hätte erwartet, dass wir jetzt noch sehen, wie das Schwert irgendwie zu, was weiß ich, irgendeinem anderen Werkzeug gemacht ist. Eventuell, was weiß ich, eine Rüstung oder halt einfach ein normales Werkzeug, wie, was weiß ich, einen Hammer oder irgendwie sowas. Das halt nicht mehr für pure Zerstörung ist.
What brings you here?
Well, my granddaughter was inspired by the heroic legends told by the Mieka Kivesa. So she dragged me here to take a look.
Was ist das für ein Setzling?
I come from a long line of Kalevalan monument keepers. For generations, my family has guarded the stone monument left behind by the nameless hero.
Das ist irgendwo schade, dass er nicht die Vergangenheit gesehen hat. Aber gleichzeitig dann bleibt es auch quasi die
Over the
Legende.
centuries, a golden tree sprouted from under the monument, and its branches have never withered. We Kalevalans see it as proof of the hero's existence. Before leaving Kalevala, I took a branch from that golden tree, hoping to plant it here to represent the hero returning to his homeland.
That sounds good. We Xianzhou people don't make coffins or set up memorials, so I'm sure he would be happy to rest here where life is bustling.
The hero had asked our ancestors to carve something into the monument. So I made a copy of it too. While the inscription is pretty worn with age, perhaps you can still make out some of it.
I have drifted far from my homeland and am on the brink of death. Yet, I take solace in having honorably fulfilled my duties. Should you feel compassion for me, kind traveler, please take a handful of soil hence and bring it back to the Lawfu. Mr. Pavo, I wonder if that hero ever left a name in your...
I apologize, but the hero's epic battles happened long ago, and he did not leave any name for us to call him. But in our mythology, he came from the heavens, and so we call him the Cloud Knight.
Welcome home, Cloud Knight.
Now, you can also rest here, Guyan.
Okay, wow. Ein unauffälliger Guking. Sowohl der Korpus als auch die Seiten wurden offenbar aus einem einzigen Metall angefertigt. Auch ohne eine menschliche Berührung erzeugt sie gelegentlich Klänge, als würde sie eine verstimmte Melodie für einen unsichtbaren Zuhörer spielen. Oh, okay, wir sehen, was sie ihnen geschmiedet hat. In ein Musikinstrument, weil er ja auch gesagt hat, er hat in den letzten Momenten, so wo der Wind durch seine Risse ging, ein bisschen Musik gemacht.
As a punishment for being an accomplice in this theft, General Huayan assigned me to guard this golden sapling and recite the story of the hero and this legendary sword to passers-by. This is not a punishment at all, and I gladly accepted it. Spreading the message of beauty to the Xianzhou residents is exactly what I desire. However, I plan to leave the Xianzhou soon and continue my travels. May our paths cross again in the vast cosmos, my dear friend.
Ja, werden sie bestimmt. Du bist ja irgendwie überall andauernd. Pavo.
Now that my mission is accomplished, the delegation will be leaving the Xianzhou Lawfu soon. But of course, the experiences here will become an epilogue to the hero stories. This golden sapling will become a part of the everyday scenery of the Xianzhou. I believe it's what he would have wanted.
Oh, Yunli.
I'm feeling a bit emotional. I'd like to stay here for a while. Thank you for your guidance. I'm truly grateful. By any chance, would you be interested in taking sword lessons with me? Like March?
Danke, aber ich glaube, ich habe meinen Baseballschläger.
Thank you.
Ja. Das kann ich nicht. Den Baum kann ich nicht untersuchen. Ja, gut. Dann. Wow, war eine gute Quest. War eine verdammt gute Quest. Ich dachte am Anfang halt wieder. Ich dachte halt also am Anfang natürlich, es ist einfach so dieses Schwert ist da. Es wird. Hier Argenti wird übernommen. Und es wird bewiesen, dass das Schwert halt wirklich böse ist, aber war sehr viel besser. Sehr, sehr, sehr viel besser. Das Schwert im Stein, der Mensch in den Wolken. Oh. Das war eine verdammt coole Quest. Das war eine verdammt coole Quest. Ja, ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen. Mir hat es definitiv die Mission gefallen. Ich hoffe, euch hat mein Video gefallen. Wenn ja, würde ich mich über einen Daumen hoch freuen und bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao!